Here on The Colour of Country Life, great to be joined by Jenny Lim, Market Information Analyst at Meat and Livestock Australia. Jenny, thanks for joining us.
No worries, thanks for having me on.
Look, we're getting towards the end of the year. The markets are starting to wrap up, but at least there's been a slight turnaround for both cattle and sheep producers.
Yeah, so the softening in prices that we've been seeing is quite standard for this time of the year. The market does tend to correct at the end of the year as people start to offload cattle coming into Christmas, and demand kind of weans as people, don't really want to take on extra stock for the summer.
Absolutely. So looking first of all at the Eastern States Young Cattle Indicator, the ECI, at least that one's gone slightly upwards, but still some pretty good prices, we keep saying, compared to the historical record.
Yeah, it's really important to note that last year, end of last year, beginning of this year, we were really coming off some incredible highs, record highs. So it's quite hard to compare to last year, and we do see that decline in prices coming to Christmas. The ECI is still performing strong on long-term averages. So it's really good to see. And we're still seeing good demand from restockers for that really good quality finished stock that are coming through the ECI.
Yeah, we're still some way off of the heady heights of sort of February this year of around, almost 1,200 cents. We're down around, $8.60 at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't seen prices like this since, I think, April 2021 when the rebuild was just starting. But I mean, it's really coming off extraordinary heights. Like the base level from this year is just was incredible to see, and we're hitting records every single week it seems. So I think it's important to keep that into perspective when we move in through the Christmas and saleyards are closing down, and people just aren't looking to buy stock over the summer period.
Yeah, absolutely, but a pretty healthy amount of supply going on as well right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw a bit of wet weather in the last few weeks, and that caused producers to hold some cattle stock back as they couldn't get them to sale yards, or logistics were a little bit more difficult. But in recent, this week and last week with the drier weather, we have seen a return of that stock that was ready at that time. And so now they're all coming onto the market, which is increasing the supply.
Now, looking on the sheep side, we have dipped below 700 cents, but nowhere near as wild a swing as we've seen in the cattle market in terms of the whole year.
Yeah, so the sheep game is a bit different. It's more about what sale is happening on that day. There's quite a bit of volatility in the market. I mean, we saw Wagga yesterday have a really strong sale yard, a bit of a softening in yardings, but Wagga is such a big part in the indicators every week that when it does run, it does move those indicators quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. The reasonable volume there as well, but a huge amount went through Hamilton by the looks of it this week.
Yeah, it just really depends on the area that you're coming into. So we're still seeing really good finish on the quality, which is creating that demand for, the ones that are in good nick. So even in Hamilton, where we're seeing good throughput, the demand is still there, which is really helping prices.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you would have thought with the huge volume they had there that the prices would be even lower, but $6.56 is still pretty decent.
Yeah, I think buyers are just allowed to be a bit more picky with what they buy. So when you have so much stock on offer, they can pick and choose which ones they do want to buy, which does push up the prices a bit, where they pay, a way bigger premium for really good finished young lambs, New Zealand lambs, and mutton.
And Jenny, let's just cast our eye first of all to when things will wrap up this year, and then when do we get going again next year?
So most yards are finishing up on the 16th of December, which is when we see most of the markets finishing, and they'll start back up in the 3rd of January. So there is a couple of weeks break there, and that's where we're seeing some fluctuation in the throughput.
Yeah, and that'll be good relief not only for the sale yards but for the producers who've had a pretty wild year in some parts, especially in southern New South Wales where we broadcast, but all through New South Wales it's been a tough year.
Yeah, it'll be great for people to just spend some time with their family and reassess what they want to do for the following year. We do see that people reassess the market as they move through into the new year. It'll be great for people to have a little bit of a break and think about what they want to do for the next year.
Yeah, you and I both, Jenny. You have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and all the Meat and Livestock Australia team. Appreciated having your input from Steve Bignell, Ripley Atkinson and the rest of the team. It's been much appreciated.
Merry Christmas, Ricky. Thanks for having me on.